Currently, within the development manager's role, I work for the department known as Organisational Development, and that's made up of a small team. We currently look after everything and anything to do with learning and development, organisational development, talent management, workforce planning. And if you think about all the careers within the ambulance service on the front line, so that's sort of emergency care assistants and their career progression from that point to technicians, technicians to paramedics, paramedics to critical care paramedics, paramedics to first contact paramedics, or whatever the skill force demand, the requirement of the organisation is. The organisational development looks after those development pathways and puts in place what's required for the organisation. Right through school, that was it. I wanted to be a paramedic. I wanted to make a change for people and people's lives. 15 years ago, it all started in the ambulance service. I joined on the non-emergency side, moved into the emergency side as a technician, then paramedic, and then from paramedic into my current position through the education and training department into senior management. First of all, one of the challenges for me I found was that there wasn't any direct work experience to get into frontline, into the ambulance service. But you could get into patient transport in the ambulance service or admin and finance, etc. But at that time I was interested in emergency work. So I joined quite a few voluntary organisations, Red Cross, St John's. I went back to night school, did additional qualifications in anatomy and physiology. I then concentrated on the Red Cross and the voluntary side and gained quite a few qualifications from there, and then joined the ambulance service. Well, as a senior manager, I'm still qualified as a paramedic with the Health Professions Council. I still respond on the road in times of high demand. All managers will go onto the road to respond to emergencies. As I'm driving in and out of work, to work, in and out of meetings, I can be responding to emergencies at that point. Currently at the moment, the paramedic education sits within the universities. There are ambulance services across the country that still do in-house training, but for us as West Midlands Ambulance Service, our paramedic education has sat with the universities for the last 3 to 4 years, really. It's a direct course, full-time, 2 years. It's open from the age of 18 for individuals to apply for that course. My advice would be, for people who are interested to be a paramedic, would to get some care experience, obviously the secondary education, work experience relevant to not just the ambulance service but health and social care in its entirety, whether that's doing an MVQ, basic level 1 or level 2, or a BTEC course, etc. You can get to paramedics via other routes. ECAs are emergency care assistants in the trust. We can develop them into paramedics through the organisational development department. It's not just paramedics. West Midlands Ambulance Service is very diverse. Behind us we've got the Emergency Control Centre, which is all the call handlers, dispatchers and duty managers, etc. We've got patient transport and care assistants. We've got a full administration team, finance, accountants, payroll managers, etc. We've got press office, we've got procurement and supplies, ambulance fleet assistants who deal with restocking and cleaning of vehicles, etc. We've got such a diverse range of jobs available in the organisation that is either direct to patient care or indirectly which supports the direct delivery of patient care. Within the air ambulance, we don't employ pilots directly, but certainly with regards to the paramedic crew, once you're a paramedic, you can then apply to go onto the air ambulance through certain criteria and assessments, and then once successful, you will then be part of the air crew. Taking healthcare to the patient, doesn't matter what's wrong with the patient or what the call is, it's making a change. Bringing a familiar face in some cases, a friendly face, because people trust the emergency services. That's why they dial 999, because they want assistance, they want help. And it's being there quickly, being there appropriately, as well as being skillfully trained and having that knowledge to do something, or refer the patient to an alternative care pathway if the accident unit is not the most appropriate place for them. In my position now as the development manager, it's making staff happy in terms of bringing development their way, because that's what clinicians want. People out there delivering healthcare to the patient, they want development, they want skills, they want the knowledge, And part of my role as the development manager is to develop educational packages to see what is the requirements is for the organisation and overall to bring about a positive change for the organisation really.